Hello, family, friends, and fans. I'm Fletcher Roden, and this is Fletch Me Anything. It's been a week of shows bringing back this old format. I used to do it all the time. Now I usually do it just to promote something, a book or a record or something like that. But I don't have anything to promote right now. I'm just checking in. We talked about, what's new with me, what I'm working on. We talked about Paul McCartney's new single, which is a drag. Um, the Big Bang Theory and AI. And now we're just going to close out with a little bit of politics. Very little. Because I don't really talk about politics. That's sort of what I'm talking about is talking about politics. And I don't really do that. When Fletch Me Anything was a regular show 5 times a week, I got into politics because I was looking for anything to talk about. I was running out of anything, and there was always politics. And boy, that's sure true now. There's lots of politics. And here I am, you know, it's the early doors of World War III, and I'm reviewing Paul McCartney's new single. Um, you know, and I feel like I should talk about current events, politically speaking, but I can't I can't bring myself to do it. I feel like everybody's talking about it. I don't have any information that other people don't have. And I don't really have any insight that better informed people don't have. And there must be, I mean, if you want to talk about politics, everything on YouTube is politics. At least on my YouTube it is. And it's not that I don't care. It's not that I'm not intrigued or interested. It's not that I'm not passionate about it. I am. I just feel like everybody else is talking about it. If you want my opinion of war, I'm against it. I don't feel like I'm going very far out on a limb there. Um, I think even the people who are for it are for it. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a big war guy. I'm not a big guns guy. I'm for the Second Amendment for sure, and I'm for war when it's necessary. Sun Tzu said, this is the first thing he says in Art of War is war is necessary to the state. War is necessary to the well-being of the state. Something like that. I'm, you know, paraphrasing. But that means that when war is necessary, it's necessary. It doesn't say war is elective to the benefit of the state. So the necessary part is in there. Uh, Whether or not we're necessarily at war, I'm just not a pundit. I'm not a war pundit. I'd like it not. I'd like us not to be in a war. It's just, you know, I I, I think war's bad. Okay, war's bad. Okay, that's as deep as I'm going to go. If you're looking for a real, because I back in the Fletch Me Anything days, I would sometimes rant about the politics. And it became one of those shows where it's like, oh, here's a guy ranting about politics. But I never set out to do that. And I don't, and I save that for my personal feelings. I don't think I have to be public about it. I'm not a public political pundit. It's not my job. That job is for other people on both sides of the aisle. And they're welcome to it. I just don't do it. I have my feelings on the subject, but I don't think they affect anything I do. I mean, for example, I've got this new album coming out in June, I think, and uh, it's got a certain theme. It's not political. It sort of feels like it might be. It's more love songs, all pop songs, really. If you're not writing about love, then what are you writing about? Your childhood in Liverpool, Paul McCartney? Geez, give me a love song, why don't you? Why don't you try that for a song topic for a change? But my views. You want my views on anything? Read my books, listen to my music. My new music is it's not partisan, that's for sure. You know, it's it's more like the politicization of love. I call it the militarization of love. Love militarized is sort of the theme of my next album. But it's not overtly political. You couldn't listen and say this guy's on one side or the other. It's just there are lots of analogies. I'll get into it when the album comes out. But the main thing is whatever statement I may have, one way or the other, it's in my music, or it's in a book I've written, or it's not because I don't write any more books. I'm retired from that. And you'll find that there's not a lot of partisanship in my books either. Not really. I have my perspective, and it's reflected in my work, but it doesn't dictate the work, and it doesn't. And that's I mean, I kind of stopped doing Fletch Me Anything because the only thing I could talk about was politics, and those are the shows that got the big numbers, you know. And I discovered that people were hate watching me, not always politically speaking, but just some people were watching the show in order to hate it. They were hate watching. They'd watch and they'd get angry with what I said. And I watched every day to see if I would say something that they could get angry about. And it's just not my job. I'm retired anyway. I don't have a job. But if I had a job, it wouldn't be to angry people up. I just I don't care if you're angry or not, you know. I'm just a goofball with a laptop. And that's all I will ever be. However, maybe not, you never know. I do have this new animation project, very exciting. And I got music piled up for years. So there's lots coming from me, but you're not going to find that it's very political. It just ain't. It ain't what I set forth to do. I have my political views. I just don't. My job isn't to share them. My job isn't to be a pundit. That's not what Fletch Me Anything was ever meant to be, and it's not what this is, or what I am musically, or in my writing, or whatever. um, However, this is a political time, and we're all very stressed out. That's kind of why I don't talk about politics. Anything but politics, because that's all you hear anywhere. Politics, politics, politics. Just anything but politics. Give me beard versus food. You know? Brandon's cult movie reviews. Anything as long as it's not politics. So if you're looking for not politics, check me out. I've got books, records, stuff coming up, stuff piling up. Got shows track by track. Got one of those running this month for my compilation album, The Five and Dime, best of 2005 to 2010. I'm coughing up, so I'm going to cut it off here. Check out my stuff. Thanks for watching. This has been fun. Tune in again, and until then, bye, Mary.